Gitara siema, ja jestem Litto D, a to jest pierwszy odcinek ze Stanley Parable.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor at his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions,
Cicho bądź
or a
Zosia.
meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his
Dobra, gitara
senses,
się w
he
końcu
got up from
może
his
się
desk
ruszać.
and stepped out of his office.
Dobra, to w tym
Already this was
odcinku będziemy robili
uncomfortable,
wszystko, co
and
on
Stanley
każe.
decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No to wchodzimy do tych drzwi po lewej.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okej, o, jeszcze
Coming to
nigdy
the
na dół nie
staircase,
schodziłem, a mówię
Stanley
wszystko
walked
oprócz nie
upstairs to
schodziłem na
his
dół.
boss's office.
Okej, dobra, teraz sprawdźmy. Nie, tu się nie da... O, da się. Bo jednak da się tu wejść. Okej, da się coś zrobić w tym kiblu. Nie, nie da. A te drzwi się da otworzyć? Też się da. Wcześniej nie mogłem.
Co grasz?
Stanley Parable, idź. Ale panda. No, można to windować, ale powiedziałem, że będę robił to, co każe narrator, to będę robił to, co każe narrator.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned an extra secret pin code, 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly
Okej,
opened
nic nie
passageway.
było. Też nic nie widziałem. Okej. Dobra, gitarka, co chcesz? Co? Okej. Dobra, idziemy.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No dobra, no to nie do escape'u, tylko do tego Mind Control Facility. Ciekawa nazwa. Okej, gitara,
The
światło
lights
zapalone.
rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Okej, tu się włączało kamery.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's
Fajnie to
co-workers,
wygląda.
the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place.
Okej, już to zakończenie mam zrobione, więc ja wiem, co tu trzeba zrobić. Teraz to.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Nie mogę tego
Was this the
kliknąć.
only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to
A,
accept it
kliknąłem jednak, okej. O.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own
No, to
life
jesteś po prostu
in
tak.
someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it?
A tam
Was it
fajnie
even
było
possible?
napisane.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Okej, teraz
But
tu
here was the
schodzimy.
proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating,
Okay,
working,
dobra.
all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For
O.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
Jezus, jeszcze wyśmiesz, no to jest najgorsze.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze.
To jest
upon his
zakończenie
the
prawidłowe.
feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
No, to było takie prawdziwe zakończenie. Tam robiliśmy to, co ten ziomuś nam kazał. No i tak to wygląda. Jakieś ciekawe zakończenie nie jest. Inne są
How
ciekawsze, jak
wonderful.
grałem.
Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along.
No to następny
I got
odcinek
what I wanted.
będzie
No matter
z tego,
how
że
hard
robimy
Stanley
wszystko,
looked,
co on
he couldn't
chce.
find a
Robimy
trace of his
wszystko na odwrót.
co-workers.
To, co on każe, to my tego w ogóle nie robimy. I dobra, 10 minut, dobra, gitara się ma nara.